Okay, 8th graders, we're going to talk about direct variation equations. Okay? And mainly, one of the objectives of this lesson, girls, listen. One of the objectives of this lesson is to learn these terms, direct variation. Okay? If something is direct, it happens immediately. Okay? In this case, direct means that it changes every time another number changes. Okay? In other words, when one is 0, the other one is 0. And if one number changes, goes up, then it goes up by an exact amount each time. Okay? For example, feet and inches, or any conversion factor where you're talking about measurement, if since feet and inches is an exact number, 1 foot is exactly 12 inches, and so 2 feet is 24 inches, and 3 feet is 36 inches, and 4 feet is 48 inches, and 0 feet is 0 inches, then that's an example of direct variation. Okay? You can write an equation for that then. Inches is equal to 12 times the number of feet. Okay? That's an example of direct variation. That's how this is used. And so, what you're going to have to do is, given an equation like this, you're going to have to see if this equation is an example of direct variation. Okay? The way that you'll do that is to solve the equation for y. So get y by itself on one side. Isolate y. So we'd have to get rid of 5x, add negative 5x to both sides. That eliminates the 5x on this side. And so it's just 2y left. So 2y is equal to negative 5x. Then get y by itself. Divide by 2 on both sides. And y equals negative 5 over 2x. Now, if x was 0, what would y be? It would be 0. Yep. So, whenever that is the case, and there's a number here, you have an equation for direct variation. And it uses a term, this constant of variation, the letter k, is the number that's the coefficient of x. So what is the coefficient of x in this example? Keisha, what's the coefficient of x? Negative 5 over 2 is k. What does k stand for? Isaac? K is it's the constant number. That's the constant of variation. It refers to this number right here that causes the variation. Okay? Let's look at some more examples. Number 2. Is this an example of direct variation? 8x plus 9y equals 0. Is this a direct variation equation? And if so, what is k? Well, what you'd have to do is you'd have to solve it for y.
What is y? Why not x?
Because the coefficient of x is the constant of variation. And so we have to find the coefficient of x in order to get k, to figure out what k is. That number that's next to x. This one right here. If you solve it for x, you don't have k. You don't have this number. You have to solve it for y in order to get that number. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So how do we solve this for y?
It's right there.
No, you have to solve it for y. You have to get rid of the 8x. Get rid of it how? Add negative 8x for both sides. Then what?
Bring down. It'll be negative. Do y over 9. 9y over 9.
And then divide by 9. And y is
Equal negative
is that, right?
8 over 9.
So what is the, so first of all, is this direct variation? You can tell if it's direct variation if this is true. Well, that's supposed to be a y. If this is true. Okay? And if you get this form. So what does this mean if this is true? If x is 0, then y is 0.
Does that mean then that if x is 1, y is 1?
No. What's 1 times negative 8 ninths? If x is 1, then y is
Negative 9.
negative 8 ninths. Yeah. That's the constant of variation, isn't it? So k is equal to negative 8 over 9. Okay? This is the what, Bailey?
That is the constant number.
Constant number. It's the number. It's the number that causes the change. Okay? It's the constant of variation. It's called. Okay.
Okay.
Now, let's look at this one. Let's see. Let's do this one. Is this an example of direct variation?
Yes.
No. We'd have to solve it for
Why?
solve it for y. Yep. So
pretty much it is when there's the variable y, and
No.
it isn't when there is no variable y.
No, not yet. There's a variable y. So is this do you think this one is?
I think it is. I have faith. I am a
Yep,
positive
you have
thinker.
to add negative 6x to both sides. Can we add these two?
No.
We can't add those two, right? So this is negative 6x plus 10 equals 8y. Divide by 8. And then we have to divide everything over here by 8.
So it is.
Oh, wait. So y equals what?
10 over 8. So y equals, I don't know.
Reduce this.
Divide in my head.
Reduce that to, what's 6 over 8 as a fraction?
6 over 8 would be 3 over.
Six.
negative
What did
75. No,
It's
it
negative
would be
0.75.
Or negative, what's the fraction?
Negative
3 over 4.
Negative 3/4
Wow, I can't believe it is.
x plus what?
Plus 10 divided by 8.
Which was reduced to
Reduced to
5 over 4.
5/4. Now, if you replaced x with 0, what would y be?
Y would be
5/4.
That would be 5/4. Is that 0? Is this true then?
Yes.
What do you mean yes?
No.
If x is 0, y is what? Bailey?
5/4.
5/4. So That's not true.
Okay.
Is it? Dylan, we just
I
said,
know.
It's a joke.
okay. So if this is not true, then this is not an equation of direct variation.
Oh
So you
man.
write not direct
Oh
variation.
man. I'm just gonna put MDV.
Wait, wait.
Dang it.
Why is the E dotted? The world would never know.
So,
Okay.
this is not direct variation, mainly because it has this number. Listen, it has this number on the other side of the coefficient of x.
Okay.
Okay, of the x term. Okay?
Okay.
When it has this number, it's not going to equal 0, 0. This is not going to be true.
Okay.
So your assignment is
Very
2 to 26 evens. 26 evens. Okay? That's on page 280.
Okay.
Isaac,
Alright.
question?
Yeah. For 8y plus 6x equals 10. So is there ever going to be a problem that it's going to equal a different number other than 0 and it will be a direct variation?
You mean where the 0 is here? No.
So
If there's a number here besides 0,
So pretty much you don't have to do the math. You can just say, it's obvious, no direct variation.
right.
Yeah.
The only one of the things you'll still have to do, Isaac, is you'll still have to solve it for y in order to get the constant of variation. Because you have to list the constant of variation. It says in the directions, find the constant of variation. So you're going to have to solve for y in order to get that constant of variation. But you're right. If there's a number here that's other than 0, it's not going to be direct variation. This one has 10, which means that it's not direct variation.
What if it's a number with x or
Sit down,
y?
Bailey.
But I wanted to ask you a question about
Okay, sit down. Sit down. Raise your hand. Sit down.
What if 0 is, I don't know, like
Pay attention.
2y? What if 0 is 2y? How would that
0
work?
is 2y. You mean
So
when
it'd be
when you
like-
put 0 into the equation, it equals?
No, I mean like, it'd be like 8y plus 6x equals 2y.
Equals 2y. Yeah, so then when you solve for y,
Would that be?
that would be a direct variation equation, wouldn't it?
So pretty much everything has to be.
What page is this?
No, you can't just say those general statements, no. No.
Well, I say order. When it's a direct variation.
Oh, you mean they have to be variable terms?
Yes.
Yes. Yep, they have to be variable terms. Yep,
They still
They all have to be variable terms.
Stop.
okay?